Does it pay to choose commitment?
You can even be married and not be committed.
Oh, of course. Marriage is the greatest business decision you will make in life. Marry someone that loves you, not marry somebody you love.
Men have been taught that everything about them is about provision.
I don't go out to find out things about you to justify the emotional damage that has happened to me. Stories I've had. Everybody say, you better check his phone now. It can be different between your death and your living. Even from the trenches like me, you came from Adekule, but you want Vogue to come and cover your wedding. Your father and your entire family are not eyeing up to 1 million a month. Or you want me to have wedding at a hotel. Some women don't think they are broke. They're going out with the wrong guy.
Rumor has it that when you put 10 men into a room and have them take a test, there's a high likelihood that a lot of them would agree that their biggest fear is commitment, especially commitment in marriage. Today on Sozo TV, we will be discussing this and every single thing that has to do with the subject. Like we always say, Sozo TV is for men and for those who love them. My name is Presley. In a bit, I'll introduce the other folks I'm discussing with. Do stay with us. Why are men afraid of commitment? Especially, why are men afraid of commitment in marriages? Once again, this is our conversation on the table today. And as usual, I'm not doing this by myself. I have easily one of my mentors, a father figure, and a friend, actually, Alausa Adewi. So good to have you. So good to have you. So good to have you.
Thank you.
Are you excited about our conversation?
Oh, I am. I have a son.
Okay, right before I come to you, of course, I have the privilege of introducing Don Onyebu. So great to have you also.
Thank you very much.
All right,
I'm looking forward to this.
I should let both of you know that I'm excited to sort of kind of be in the center, moderating this conversation. It means I will ask you a lot of questions.
No, we'll even put you in the center.
No, I'm receiving from you. That's what this is. I'm receiving, from most of our conversation. But let's just jump right into it. And I'd like to start with you, Mr. Lausa. What would you say are some of the most prominent reasons men fear commitment?
During the briefing, I think it was Don, when you and Don were discussing, and that's before we got into the show.
Right.
Don was trying to explain the trajectory and the linkage between trust, vulnerability, and accountability.
Right.
That when men lack trust, then they become afraid of vulnerability, which being open to somebody. So somebody saying their weaknesses. And that vulnerability actually leads to accountability, because when people already know where your weaknesses and who you are, they demand some standards from you. And so the reason why a lot of men are afraid of all this commitment and all that is because they are afraid of being vulnerable. But if you work in an office, for example, and tell you the internal audit is coming, you kind of feel irritated.
Right.
Because that means they're going to check the things you've done. Yeah. They're going to pick out your weak points, and they are going to emphasize those things.
You're opening yourself up to scrutiny.
And nobody wants that. And it's a mindset. If you don't want that, naturally you're afraid of commitment. You're afraid of getting somebody to open up to somebody. Afraid of letting people into your space, because they will question what you are doing.
Right.
They would demand some standards, and you don't want that.
Right.
So the young men of today, no, they don't want to provide. They want to live life as just like a free radical agent. They don't want anybody to control them. They don't want anybody to check what they are doing. So commitment is the next thing. What can I do so that I won't find myself here? So I don't commit to anything.
Well, you can even be married and not be committed.
Oh, of course.
Ooh, so I like this angle. Yeah, I really like that angle.
Because you can... Of course, I can be married to someone. I'm not vulnerable to that person. I'm not accountable to that person. And, because of the male ego and because of, the way marriage sometimes, not sometimes, the way marriage is set up, the male man is the head of the home,
Right.
and then has his wife.
Especially when we call church, put
Yeah,
church into it.
when you-
And the head of
and
this home.
you have to make it.
Olo head,
you have
head
to
without
stamp your
anything.
feet on the ground. And so because of that, I don't need to tell you where I'm going
You are
to.
the one that will tell me.
Right.
I don't need to tell you.
I don't need to tell
I'm
you
the
anything.
head of this home.
Yes.
Head without anything. No.
Right. So if there's one thing I hear both of you definitely agree on is there is the vulnerability part of the conversation that leads to accountability that then brings your ego to the fore.
Yep.
And your self-awareness, like where you are as a man in managing that ego. But before we even get into accountability and ego, because those are two very strong conversations, I want to get both of your viewpoints on that word vulnerability. I was watching a conversation with men actually also, and one of them said something along the lines of, vulnerability also, using the term vulnerability can also be a problem. As opposed to saying vulnerability, we should get more used to saying emotionally open. Because when you say somebody is vulnerable, it means that you are opening yourself up for danger. And if we're being honest, that's the literal definition of vulnerability.
But
Right? When you say,
That's what-
and I'm going somewhere. If just give me a second, Don. Right? If you look at the literal definition of vulnerability, it means that you are opening yourself up to danger. You are opening yourself up to quote and unquote harm.
Yes.
And most people don't want to be in such situation.
Yeah.
Right? It's a default setting. Mr. Niger D, I is irritability. Your immediate response to anything that potentially, could take you away from safety is to, shrug.
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. There we go. But when you say emotionally open, a lot more people are happy to embrace this particular term. So my question to both of you is, would you say that there are two different things? Would you say that the construct of marriage, like you said, actually is that you be vulnerable? Are we saying that more men should actually embrace vulnerability because that's how you lead a solid marriage? Are you saying that both of them are actually good, but if you say emotionally open but you don't want to be vulnerable, there could be a problem there?
Changing the nomenclature does not change anything. Because 6.5 it doesn't. So whether it is emotion, but I think that emotional openness is a subset of vulnerability. Right, because you can be emotionally open,
right,
but your wallet is not open.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
your diary
okay.
also is not open.
Okay.
So there's with regards to vulnerability, it means that you vulnerability is where intimacy actually really comes from. So there's more to intimacy than sex. Sex is not intimacy, because you can have sex with someone that you are not intimate with. But it is when you are open and vulnerable before the person, that's where intimacy starts. So we often say that marriage is not necessarily for your happiness, it's for holiness.
Right.
It's for development, for growth.
Right.
And if you are before a doctor, for instance, if you have a headache and you tell the doctor that you don't have a headache, he does not know where to help you from. So when you stand or when you sit before your doctor, the first thing you need to do is to be vulnerable before that doctor, and then the doctor can then know how to help you.
Right.
Yeah, but if you are coloring things, changing nomenclature, and maybe because maybe faith, say, "Oh, I am strong. I'm strong." He doesn't know where to help you from.
Right.
So that's how I think we should look at this issue of vulnerability vis-a-vis, the top we're looking at.
So
the topic.
those nomenclatures that Presley used is what, unfortunately, what we have developed these days. When I was growing up, if you have a race, you are not forced to talk. Nobody gives you any presents. When I go to primary schools now and 20 people race,
they give all of them.
All of them, they say so that
participation
you want to avoid the emotional damage.
Right.
It's just building. I'm old school. It's just building weaklings into the system and removing the aspirational part of growth for life. Vulnerability, whatever we call it, is opening up to somebody. If you don't open up, nobody knows where to help you. Nobody knows where you lack and where you need support. one of the best things I've enjoyed in relationship with my wife is being able to, if you are battered in the marketplace, you are betrayed, you feel lost, somebody that will hold you and hold your head on her bosom to say, it is all right. We'll get out of it. It's all right. So you cannot put value on those kind words. You have messed up, but somebody is saying, despite your messing up, despite your loss of this. So I'll give you an example. There was a time I was looking for a job. It just dropped on my laps. I was in my car and a call came through, and it said, well, we are adulting for a multilateral, big, all over the world. They are in Egypt, and we are looking for head of legal role. This was like 15, almost 20 years ago. And I said, well, I first thought it was a scam because, hey, somebody just called, who is my father that somebody just calls him from. This call came from South Africa. And I joined and I started the process. 3, 4, 5 interview levels. The last one was in Egypt, where I met the president, the vice president, 3 people in Africa. 3 people last. And I went to that interview and I didn't make it. Now, I didn't understand until my friend that we went together, he was an accountant, went to the internal audit, got the offer. And I discovered that you get a diplomatic passport.
Wow.
Your children start going to American schools, and then you are paid in dollars. That's when it hits me that, how could God have given you this? And then you are the 3 last standing, and you still missed it. How could you have been so stupid? I just stood, when I had the message came into my phone and I saw it, I just stood in front of I just asked myself, how stupid can you be? You just destroyed the future of your family. Your son would have gone to an American school, paid in dollars. Your children are traveling with diplomatic passport. And you lost it. I could not look at myself in the mirror. It was terrible. Presley, my wife had to hold me that it is not the end of the world. Other opportunities will come. And it took like a week of just petting like a baby. At that point I could have just walked in front of there's nothing left to live for. Now, if you didn't have someone like that, if you couldn't open up somebody on that, you will suffer that alone, and you may not get out of it. And that's where depression kills.
Was it an easy thing to do?
No, it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't. So it means that you are telling your wife that I failed. That whether we like it or not, that's the implication.
No matter what the English
yes,
is.
you are telling your wife, I missed it. I failed the family. That's what you are saying. But somebody is saying, it's okay. We'll get out of it. It's not the end of the world. And that's where most men don't want to be. Maybe some women too don't want to be, because the person you are with, you cannot expose. And this is where we now goes back to choosing the person. I keep telling anyone that is close to me that please marry someone that loves you, not marry somebody you love. Somebody said it's a contrast. Marry someone that will die for you, not someone you will die for. They are 2 different things.
Does that not suggest an imbalance?
So let the person also love you.
As the
person is loving you, you too love the person.
Marry someone that will die for you, not someone that will die for. We misbehave when we run around people that we want to die for a lot. That's when we ignore the red flags. That you see the message, you say, no, love will conquer all. But marry someone that is kind, someone that embodies your values. And then all this commitment we are talking about, the fears that we have around commitment, maybe they will be half solved, because the stimuli you are projecting is the stimuli you are getting. Somebody is not saying, I've had people say, I'm managing my wife. I helped her out of misery, poverty. I went to pick her somewhere in the village, who was her father.
Right.
I've had those things. And some people that do those things are people that don't want to open up. They want to have the upper edge every time. Press that person down. Those are people that behave that way.
Right.
Sorry,
right. But
there are guys also that have opened up. They've been vulnerable.
Yes.
And their vulnerability has been used against them.
Yeah, so it goes back to choosing.
Right.
So,
and I love this analogy you just shared, because it now helps me ask you the question I want to ask and also provide the scenario. Man and woman, modern day Nigeria, modern day Lagos, and say the guy earns, hypothetically speaking, 5,000 naira. Of course, if you earn 5,000 naira in this day and time, deliverance and stuff. But hypothetically speaking, 500,000 naira, right? And then your lady, earns maybe say upward of tens of millions, say 5 million, 10 million and all. And you're in a situation where, let's say it's a married couple, and then kids have started to come into the conversation. What does vulnerability mean in that situation for man and wife to sit together to have a conversation around one of us has to be around for the children? Because while you can get a maid, you also don't want a stranger to raise your kids. You want one of the parents to also be there. How does that affect the man now? And that's why I'm using this scenario. What should that conversation look like?
So Presley has gone into why men are afraid.
Yes, of commitment. Bringing ego into the conversation now, because we've thrashed vulnerability to an extent, but it also segues into the ego conversation.
So the thing is, when your ego is actually what is running your life, what will happen is that the man will insist that the woman should be the one to resign,
despite their millions.
And that she's earning 10 times what he's earning. Right. The thing about it is that part of the issue is that for some reason, men have been taught that everything about them is about provision. But we when you think about provision, we are always thinking about money. But there's more that you can provide in a home, right, than money. So your wife is earning 5 million, you are earning 500,000. If both of you don't have another alternative system to raise the family, maybe a mother, a grandmother, or maybe an auntie you can trust to be able to impact the values that you intend for those children to grow up with, then at some point you may, especially if your wife is in sync. So where the issues most time comes up is where the wife has also shown a track record that if I don't bring this 500,000, I won't have a say in what will happen in the home. Then I will stay in the 500,000. You lose your own job. So it's a competition that's happening in that home. Right. But if there's really synergy, and then both of you are willing to work together, yes, you may have to step out of a 500,000 naira job, and be around the home. You must not come and be a sit-at-home father, but there are businesses you can do. You can also do. You can have jobs that will keep you around the vicinity of your home, so that it's a bit flexible for you to be able to take care of the children, and be there when they come, while the lady is doing her 5 million naira job. But you can also have a situation where the 500k actually has better potential than the 5 million. Do you understand? In the long run. And I've seen that happen very, very, very well. The only thing is that as long as both of you bring the pros and the cons on the table and discuss it without void of any sentiment and ego, where the man is lording it over that I must be the one that is the provider, or the woman says no, I am the supporter. But if all of you are looking at the welfare of the family, then you will come to a conclusion that will help.
But is that an easy conclusion to come to, though? Because it's one thing to say it, and which is why I keep saying let's use actual scenarios. So again, going from the scenario, say we actually have a man whose head is screwed on right, and he has the conversation with his spouse, because in this instance we're using an actual marriage, right? And both of them agree, you know what, your job earns us more money, I would resign, right? To a large extent, for most men, that's not an easy season to navigate.
No, it's not.
A lot of things happen.
It's not. So that's where wisdom comes in,
right?
And that's where both the spouses must be in it together. You see, I've always said the difference between a good marriage and a bad one is the next advice that you get, that you act on. So if your wife works with people or has friends that ridicule their husbands because you don't have a lot of money, and then she moves with those friends, eventually she will ridicule you because you don't have a lot of money.
Right.
But that's where wisdom comes in, and then holding your holding your pride as a man, not being proud, but holding your self-worth. That's where it comes in. And I give an example. So you don't contribute a lot in the house. Maybe you lost your job, but you sit down in the house every day watching DSTV.
Hey, as much as we absolutely love to have these conversations that we believe would bless you and change something significant in your life, would also like to hear your thoughts. So please like, comment, share, but more importantly, leave your thoughts in the chat box that we may also learn from you also. It's important that while we do this on this end, you're also letting us know your own thoughts. That way we get better, and of course you get better at the same time. Now, let's get back to the show and finish the conversation.
So you have taken meat to snack and all that, and then your wife comes back at maybe like 6:37 with the children, and she still has to make dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Attempt something.
And at night you
boil
tap
rice. You say honey, I'm honey.
Uh,
Somebody said bee will bite you. Because really, what have you deposited in that woman? You made her feel like the sacrificial lamb. You've not shown your worth to that woman. So what do you expect? She will naturally fight back and complain, become irritable. But if you take the load off her, and that's wisdom, take the load off her, and so she comes home, somebody's rubbing her leg, Pele, how was the day? Pele, what we are doing for this family, God will bless you. God will raise your head, God would make you sing in the office, you'll be promoted. You are praying for her, you are making her feel good. See, all the pressure eases because she knows that there is someone that she can rely on at home and call. So she knows that this is temporary. You are not lazy. You are trying to push. I told a young man a long time ago when he was always asking 5 stars. I said, "Come, you are a graduate. Can't you go to those were the days of people opening shops and selling SIM cards. Now, can't you go to a shop and help them sell SIM cards? You're an accountant. Sit down and just do their books. By the time you do it for one person, he will tell his friend, you become a consultant. He said, I will not go and sit down in the SIM card shop. He just couldn't get it, Many years ago, I think he was the senior pastor of Latter Day Assembly.
Latter Rain.
That said if anybody should come to his office that he wants transport money, he will ask the police people to beat up the person because their cars parked in the church on Sunday. That please wash the cars. There's water. While service is going on, wash the cars. Take their plate number. I will announce on the altar that the owners of so and so cars should come see me in the office. And I will collect 1,000 from them for you. If you watch 10, that's 10,000 for you every Sunday. If 4 or 5 Sundays, that's 50,000 a month as salary. Instead of just saying, it's the mindset of people, and that's how men misbehave.
Right.
So when you have those experiences because you don't apply wisdom to those experiences, no matter what, and I keep saying that, and I'm not gender biased, a woman is not structured to be a full provider. Let's get that straight. A woman is not structured to be a full provider. A woman will support, but it's not structured. And that is why a man will foot the bill of the family for 30 years and will not hear a complaint. And a woman will foot it for 1 month and say, this thing is too much, or they want to kill me, because she is meant to come in when there is a need and support, and then move on.
Not the primary.
So we need to understand all these psychological things, cultural norms, nuances, and all that. But more important, we need to understand that when we are in that position, there are obligations that we need to fulfill.
Right.
And then when you do that a bit, except your wife came from the devil, you kind of have a balance. There are some women too, if you understand who you are married, they will never respect someone that they earn more than. And I've counseled people like that. No matter what the gentleman does, it's never enough. The fact that she earns more, has better placement at work, no matter what you tell her, she has a change of mindset. It can never work. So you need to understand who you are married. If that's the kind of person you are married, you are in for it.
You have entered.
You are in for it.
They said there's forgiveness and there's forbearance.
You have to forbear.
You forbear.
You have
in
to
that
forbear.
one.
Is there a threshold for forbearing, please?
And it's forbearance. It's forever. It's death till death do you part.
Forbear until God will answer your prayer.
It's till death do you part.
God will answer your prayer.
Right. Do you have thoughts to maybe complement some of the things that he has shared also?
And well, with regards to, so I think we have been looking at the reason why men don't commit. Just also from a marital angle. So there's also the accountability angle. The accountability angle where you have to be accountable for your actions and inactions.
Even the money you are making.
Even the money that you have you've gone around the world to make, you've sacrificed. And so the reason why some men don't want to commit is that I don't want to be asked questions.
Right.
I don't want to be asked questions. I want to be able to spend my money the way I want to. I want to be able to go wherever I want to. I want to be able to do whatever I want to or not do whatever I want to do and not be asked questions. And that's actually a dangerous place to be. A very dangerous place to be. And there's a way you can become a danger to yourself.
Right. And not realize it.
And not realize it. Major reasons why a lot of men don't want to be
especially when they won't bring
committed.
In all the money.
Yes.
Yeah, I've paid the rent. I've paid the school fees. Why are
I'm
you asking
not
me questions?
even. I'm,
You
yeah.
got
so
your car. You can't talk to me anyhow.
you can't talk to me. Who are you?
You know how much I pay for your bride price?
I
Talking
have
nonsense
Which
here.
bride price? This
Right.
5 kobo bride price.
I have a comment on the matter that might surprise both of you, but because it also leads to my next question for you, I would also share. I think that one of the reasons why it might be hard for men to also commit, and this is a personal experience for me, would also be the response from the other party.
Yep.
And in this conversation now, I would say the response from maybe your spouse or your girlfriend, or, I was in a situation once where, things like trust, things like you being kind, things like you wanting to pray for somebody, like they received it as you are pretending. Oh, this is a lie. It's too good to be true. They would want to check your phone, for example, and I'm like, oh, by all means. But at the same time, I also need you to know that because I'm handing it to you doesn't mean I'm comfortable with it, because I feel like it also breaches trust that we have. I have never needed to check your phone, but you always want to do it with me, right? And then after a while, I started to feel a type of way, starting to think, wait, why am I doing all of these things if at the end of the day, the response I get is this, which is, they make you feel like an alien, like this is not the right thing to do. So you've done right so much that you now feel like you're in the wrong.
That you are hiding something.
Exactly. And then you do it the first, second, and third time. You would think that by the third time, they'll have a change of heart, and there's just the way it colors, your idea of what a relationship should look like. And I feel like there have been people that have also been in that scenario. And I also suspect that these people don't even speak out because they're in the minority, so it leads me to the question, and I love that we've shared, from the couple's perspective, how do partners, people that have actually made that decision to say, you know what, we're here, we're not going anywhere, right? How do you have this conversation? Say you've navigated the conversation around commitment, right? You understand now that you've put your hand on the plow. This is what we're doing. The many things that are coming from the left, right, and center as attacks that wants to remove your hand from the plow. How do you manage that, especially with another person in the equation?
Let me try. You see, you choose to trust. So the narrative in town is that you are a fool if you trust.
Right. Yes.
You'll be taken advantage of.
Yes.
So I choose to trust. So I keep going back to how you choose your partner, how you choose
and what you were looking for.
What you were looking for in a relationship. A lot of us becloud our minds with things that are nonsensical.
And mundane.
Yes, things that don't matter. He's very intelligent. He's handsome. I keep asking, what does that have to do with a marriage? She's very articulate.
Or she has the figures.
Yes,
she has the right
a life
figures.
Partner based on those things. I keep asking myself, how does that affect your marriage really? You don't you go out with someone that talks to the driver, the security man as if they are dead, and you are saying that you are telling yourself that he is a very, very confident man. He speaks his mind.
He's an alpha's alpha.
Yes, you speak his mind, and those are things that are attractive to you. You are just preparing yourself for a life of misery. People talk to, what I'm trying to say is that how does he talk to people that are not influential to his progress in life or where he wants to get to in life? How does he treat people that he considers unimportant? Those are pointers to who you are going with, And if you are not careful about those things, it's going things about you to justify the emotional damage that has happened to me. Stories I've had, everybody say, you better check his phone now. You can be different between your death and your living. Why do you choose those people to go out with? You will see the signs.
Right.
You can say it's changed, but what of his friends? If they've not changed, so you're asking yourself, if his friends are behaving this way, how is he behaving when I'm not there? You see, implicitly, we know these things, but we fool ourselves. We tell ourselves that it's different when we know that it may not be different, but we still go ahead with those things, So, if we are truthful to ourselves, if we are honest in our emotions, most of the things that we do, we will not do them. But because we want a certain type of guy, we want a certain type of woman, those are the things we look out for. If you see the person that God has sent to you, are you going to identify that person? If you recall, I think it was Reverend Samuel that was saying on the altar, when he was talking about this gentleman that was phonetics speaking, engineer and all that, and when he was going to choose a wife, he chose a girl that was almost had the kind of limp. And in his mind, he was saying, how can it be this one? There are phonetics speaking girls in church. Why is he choosing this one? But the guy said, this is the person that will give me the peace I require. And what has happened to them? He said they have a fantastic marriage, fantastic children. They actually live abroad now. They have progressed seriously since they got married because the guy knew what he wanted from life and chose the person that will give him. A lot of us don't choose the person that will support us in life. Marriage is the greatest business decision you will make in life.
It's the greatest business decision you will make in life.
You have to choose the person that will take you to where you are going. I tell my son, you want someone that's intelligent. It doesn't have to be this particular. There are thousands of people that God has created that will be kind, that will be considerate, that will still have that intelligence that you require. So look for the values that you want in that person that is intelligent. It doesn't have to be this person, but look for those values in the person that, because you need to tell yourself the truth. Someone talks down everybody, but when it treats you kindly, it is for now.
Right.
When you come into the home, it will talk to you the same way it talks to people outside.
You can only pretend about certain things for so long.
So it's because of the things we arrogate, we invite into our lives, and then we now complain about it later. You can't complain. It's what you signed for.
Right.
If God changes the person, oh, hallelujah. But otherwise, you will face, in fact, you will reap what you have sown because you have sown it, and unfortunately, it comes back in 100-folds. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so the viewpoint I want to look at that from is where you are not yet married, but you've started the process of commitment, and then you've opened up, you are vulnerable, you've tried as much as possible, to show that you can be trusted. However, your trust is thrown in your face several times, or there's always that prodding and asking, oh, you are not telling the truth, and the person is always looking for physical, verbal, and other kinds of convictions to be able to say, oh, this person is being trusted or not. At that point, you're actually you are not in a good place, and
that person is emotionally damaged. They need to heal.
That person needs to heal. But
first.
The problem is that you may not be the person that will help them,
that will hold their hand through the
that
healing.
will hold them through that journey, depending on how long you want to really, commit to that kind of thing. So
you need to have the conversation. Ask them who damaged you.
If you can,
because sometimes they might not even be aware.
Sometimes they are not aware, and sometimes they don't also want to be helped, right? So what will you do? Would you now use your life as an example? So at that point, you then know that I am not the problem. You can, they say when you have done all to stand therefore. Right, you've done all you can to maybe help, recommend counselors and everything, and the person is just not biting. Right. Would you then stay there because you are in one love situation?
If there's one thing that I've definitely picked from a number of things that we've said is how commitment opens the doors to things like trust, vulnerability, ego, and even self-awareness. Yes. But just to sort of wrap up the entire conversation, I'd like you to just summarize and as quickly as you can. Simple question. Does it pay to choose commitment?
It does. It does from many angles. It does. If your goal in life is to be a better person,
Right.
commitment will help you, because now you have someone you can be accountable to, someone that when you are thinking of doing something stupid, you know that if they catch me, they will not be happy
Right.
with this,
Right.
you know, and then you comport yourself.
Right.
It's the respect you accord to your spouse or partner. That if I do this and this happens, how will this person feel? And then not because you are afraid of that person, you are afraid of the consequence of your action, and then you stop.
Right.
And that's why people say, if you ask a lot of women, they will say, I want a God-fearing man. It's not that they want a man that has the qualities of Jesus Christ, which means all this consideration, fear of, all those things. That's what they want. But in articulating, they say, I want a God-fearing man. But the converse is that, are you a God-fearing woman?
Right.
So will you do the same?
Right.
For this
There are some men that are asking for God-fearing women, but they don't want to be. They don't want to even be close to G, or not even talk of the D.
I think there's another thing we've not spoken about: the financial pressure that goes with commitment. Social media pressure. Yes, you on Valentine's Day. When I was in university, Valentine's Day was the day you never see me because I had more than one girlfriend. Where will I even start? So where will I even start? So on that day, my mom is my Valentine. I will just travel home.
Right.
I just go and stay with my mom. But I saw a lot of my friends buying teddy, life-size teddy bear. The guy spending his entire allowance for the month just to, the pressure. But it's now worse. In those days, there was no social media. But now social media, you just see somebody with a red ribbon on a red car. You're asking yourself that I'm not even bought somebody's buying brand new car. And those are the things that your girlfriend is seeing and every time you.
And she's pointing it out to you. Did you see this
now,
person?
She's not asking you to buy, but just saying, oh, look at this post. Oh,
yeah.
Somebody's telling you that.
That's what's going on.
Somebody's telling you that she wants it to.
Yeah.
She won't say go and buy, but as far as you go out of that discussion with, am I enough? So you allow pressure to come on yourself. Some people will say, I want a Disney whatever wedding.
Destination
wedding. You came from the trenches like me. You came from Adegule. But you want Vogue to come and cover your wedding. Your father and your entire family are not earning up to 1 million a month. But you want me to have wedding at a hotel. Some women don't think they are broke. They think they're going out with the wrong guy.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. They think they're going out with the wrong guy. So that's why...
They're coming for you on Twitter.
No, that's why a girl that's... and our entire family they don't make 1 million every month, and thinks a guy earning like 4 million, that's a Toyota Corolla, is broke. I don't get it. Your father is still living in Fame Simi and Face You. All your brothers all together they don't make 500,000.
If they don't help them, they will not be helped.
Yes, 500,000. Yet a guy that's earning 2 million, 2.5 million is broke. So it's societal pressure. And so when a young man feels that from the first girl, second girl, he tells himself that
there's no use.
But it now depends on where the guy is looking at.
Right.
There are still young girls that will tell you that hold your money.
Right.
I can go to a mega chicken, for example, and eat 10,000 and we are fine.
And it doesn't take away from your
and I don't have to go to a place where I can post
or the quality of your relationship.
Yes, I'm not trying to start impress anybody. But will those guys look at those girls? No. Because they don't wear, not the kind of, they don't. So you need to tell yourself the truth.
Right.
Where I'm going in life, what do I need? And if you tell yourself that truth, you are able to see better. Your view opens up and you're able to see better. You are able to commit to what is important to you. I tell you, I've been married for a while. 10 years time, you don't see that figure again. You don't see those, what's it called?
Does it stay up to 10 years? After 10 years, you actually don't. You don't even need to get to 10 years.
Yes. By the time you are in that 6 months to 1 year, you say, I enter one chance.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I enter one chance.
One thing is for sure, certain conversations we cannot exhaust even in just one sitting. And, you know, for someone watching this at home or on your couch, on your tab or any other device, we do hope that beyond just this blessing you, we do hope that it has struck a nerve. But more importantly, that even the things that we've discussed, you know, today would not just cause you to make a shift, but it would actually start to, you know, do something significant in your life, such that you would even share this with someone as to how this can also better their own lives going forward. At the end of the day, Sozo is for all men and those who love them. We're super excited to catch you on the next one. Ensure that you do come back. Cheers.